Welcome to today's video, where we take a closer look at some of the most fascinating and highly sought-after British coins, the 1 shilling pieces of the mid-20th century. Covering the years 1948, 1949, 1950, 1955, and 1956, these coins are not just fragments of currency, but true treasures that reflect the culture, artistry, and history of post-war Britain under King George VI and later Queen Elizabeth II. Each of these shillings carries with it a story of national pride, economic change, and enduring heritage, and what makes them even more exciting is the fact that today they have become rare collectibles that can command impressive values on the international market. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or simply someone curious about the hidden value in old coins, this journey through the shillings of the late 1940s and 1950s will open your eyes to why these pieces are considered hidden gems and why collector demand for them continues to rise. Let's get started up with the 1 shilling coin of the United Kingdom from the year 1948 is without doubt one of the most talked about coins among collectors today, and for good reason. When we look at the history of British coinage, the shilling stands out as a denomination that carried immense cultural and financial weight for centuries. The 1948 1 shilling coin is particularly fascinating, not only because of its place in post-war Britain but also because of the rarity and value it holds in fine condition today. In this video, we will take a detailed journey into its background, design, symbolic values, and current worth in the modern collector's market. The story of the 1948 shilling begins in a very important chapter of British history. This was a period just after the Second World War, a time when the nation was rebuilding its economy and identity. Coinage played an essential role during this era, representing not just a medium of exchange but also a symbol of national strength and continuity. The 1 shilling coin had been a cornerstone of the British currency system since the medieval period, and in 1948 it carried a design that reflected both heritage and pride. It was minted in 2 varieties, the English shilling, featuring the lion standing boldly above the crown, and the Scottish shilling, bearing the proud Scottish lion rampant. Both versions held significant meaning and showcased the unity of the United Kingdom. Looking closely at the head and tail design, we find the portrait of King George VI on the obverse side, facing left. His image was surrounded by the Latin inscription proclaiming him king and defender of the faith, a reminder of the monarchy's importance in British society. The reverse side varied depending on whether it was the English or Scottish issue, but both were highly detailed and artistic in their representation. The tail side stood as more than decoration, it symbolized centuries of royal power and national resilience. From a cultural and historical perspective, this coin reflects the values of a country emerging from hardship and moving towards a brighter future. Money during this era was not merely about commerce, it was an emblem of tradition and stability. The 1 shilling was widely used in everyday life, whether in shops, markets, or in saving jars across the nation. For historians, numismatists, and ordinary people alike, this coin is a direct link to the post-war generation and the spirit of recovery that defined the late 1940s. The weight of the 1948 shilling is approximately 5.65 grams, and it was made of cupronickel, as silver content in shillings had ceased after 1946 due to economic constraints. Its diameter is around 23.5 millimeters, making it a sturdy yet modestly sized coin, perfect for circulation but also ideal for collectors who admire its balance of design and practicality. When it comes to key facts, the 1948 1 shilling coin was minted in large enough numbers for circulation, yet those preserved in fine condition or better have become increasingly scarce. The 2 distinct types, English and Scottish, give collectors a choice, though many aim to acquire both as part of a complete set. These varieties highlight the pride of 2 different traditions within the United Kingdom, making the coin particularly attractive for anyone passionate about British heritage. Now we turn to the rarity and condition, which play a critical role in the coin's desirability. While circulated examples are common, coins in fine or very fine condition are more difficult to find, and those in extremely fine or uncirculated states are highly sought after. Collectors understand that condition is everything, and coins that have survived the decades without excessive wear or damage command significantly higher prices. The rarity of pristine pieces continues to push their demand, and this makes them not only a piece of history but also an investment for the future. As for the current market value, the 1948 1 shilling coin in fine condition is today fetching prices of around $19,600 in specialized auctions and private sales. Meanwhile, examples in superior grades, closer to extremely fine or uncirculated condition, have been known to reach astonishing values of up to $27,000. This remarkable range highlights just how much collectors are willing to pay for a well-preserved specimen, and it demonstrates the continued high demand for British shillings from this pivotal year. For collectors interested in acquiring this coin, there are a few important tips to keep in mind. Always look for coins with clear detail, especially on the portrait of King George VI and the reverse design, as wear on these areas can greatly reduce value. Authenticity is also crucial, so purchasing from trusted dealers or auction houses is strongly recommended. Another wise move is to focus on condition above all else. Even a small difference in quality can result in a dramatic increase in market price. Building a collection with both the English and Scottish issues will also add depth and uniqueness to your holdings. In conclusion, the 1948 1 shilling coin of the United Kingdom is far more than a simple piece of currency. It represents resilience, tradition, and national pride during a time of rebuilding. With its fascinating design, cultural significance, and extraordinary market value today, it remains one of the most captivating coins in British numismatic history. For those who already own one, it is a treasure worth cherishing, and for those seeking to acquire one, it is an investment that continues to rise in demand and prestige. At number 2, the 1 shilling coin of the United Kingdom from 1955 is a fascinating and highly collectible piece of British numismatic history. When we take a closer look at this particular coin in fine condition, we find that it represents far more than just a unit of currency. It tells the story of Britain's post-war years, of the monarchy, and of a nation preserving its traditions while moving into a new era. This makes the 1955 1 shilling coin not only a treasured artifact for collectors but also a symbol of continuity and cultural identity. To appreciate this coin, it is essential to understand its background. The 1 shilling coin had been a part of British currency for centuries, valued at 12 pence under the old system before decimalisation. By 1955, these coins were already ingrained in the daily life of the British public, used in everyday trade and transactions. At the time, the country was under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had ascended the throne only a few years earlier in 1952. Therefore, the 1955 shilling was among the early coins issued with her portrait, giving it added historical importance as part of the first phase of coinage in her long reign. Looking at the design, the head of the coin proudly bears the portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. This youthful portrait is iconic, as it captures the optimism of a new monarch beginning her rule. The inscription around her effigy expresses her titles and position, linking the coin directly with the crown. On the reverse, the tail side differs depending on whether the coin was struck for England or Scotland. The English shilling features the crowned lions of England, while the Scottish shilling bears the proud rampant lion of Scotland within a crowned shield. Both designs are deeply rooted in national identity and heraldic tradition, making them highly symbolic and appealing to collectors today. Culturally and historically, the 1955 1 shilling coin is a bridge between the pre-decimal currency system and modern British history. It is a tangible reminder of the time before decimalisation in 1971, when shillings, florins, and half-crowns filled the purses of the British people. Owning such a coin brings with it a sense of nostalgia for an era when coins carried more than just face value. They carried a story of heritage, monarchy, and national pride. The weight of the coin adds to its collectability. The 1955 shilling was struck in cupronickel after the end of silver content in British coinage in 1947. It weighs approximately 5.65 grams and measures 23.5 millimeters in diameter, making it a small but solid piece of metal with a reassuring feel in the hand. Though no longer made of silver, the quality of the strike and the detailed design ensure it remains an attractive item in any collection. Some key facts make this coin stand out. Firstly, it is part of the very first years of Elizabeth II's coinage, giving it a special place in history. Secondly, the shilling was one of the coins that existed in two distinct national versions, English and Scottish, which increases the variety and interest among collectors. Finally, its survival in fine condition despite being widely used in circulation makes it even more desirable, as coins of this age are often found in heavily worn states. When it comes to rarity and condition, the 1955 1 shilling coin is not the rarest of British coins, but in fine or higher grade it becomes a highly collectible piece. Collectors seek examples that retain clear details on the Queen's portrait and the heraldic design on the reverse, with minimal wear and no major scratches. The better the condition, the more demand there is, as pristine or near-pristine examples are increasingly difficult to find nearly 7 decades after their issue. Now let us turn to the market value. In today's numismatic trade, the 1955 1 shilling coin in fine condition can reach remarkable figures among keen collectors. Depending on whether it is the English or Scottish type and its exact state of preservation, values can range from around $14,600 and, in certain exceptional cases, climb as high as $22,000. This is a striking reflection of how much interest there is in British coinage of this era and how demand continues to grow internationally. For collectors who are interested in acquiring one of these coins, there are several tips to keep in mind. Always verify the authenticity of the coin and pay close attention to its condition, as even slight differences in wear can have a major impact on value. Try to obtain both the English and Scottish versions if possible, as owning both offers a complete picture of the 1955 issue. Keeping coins in protective holders will help maintain their condition and value. Additionally, researching market trends and consulting reputable coin dealers will ensure that you make informed decisions when buying or selling. In conclusion, the 1 shilling coin of the United Kingdom from 1955 is far more than just an old piece of change. It is a cherished artifact from the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, carrying with it a wealth of history, symbolism, and national pride. With its charming design, solid weight, and fascinating background, it continues to captivate the attention of collectors across the world. Its impressive current market value, reaching between $14,000 and $622,000, shows just how much demand exists for coins of this kind, making it a wise and rewarding addition to any collection. For those passionate about British history and numismatics, the 1955 1 shilling coin represents both an investment and a piece of living heritage. At number 3, the 1 shilling coin of the United Kingdom from 1949 is one of those remarkable pieces of British numismatic history that continues to fascinate collectors, historians, and coin enthusiasts alike. Today, we are diving deep into the story of this coin, its heritage, its design, and its place in both cultural memory and the collector's market. This coin is not just a small piece of silver-colored metal, but rather a tangible reminder of a time when Britain was rebuilding after the Second World War, and coins like this were part of everyday life. For many people, it is a symbol of tradition, monarchy, and the economic history of the mid-20th century, which makes it highly desirable in today's collector circles. The background of the 1949 1 shilling coin is closely tied to the reign of King George VI, who was the monarch at the time. Britain was emerging from the war years, rationing was still in effect, and the coinage in circulation was gradually adapting to new times. The shilling was an important denomination in the pre-decimal system, valued at 1/20th of a pound sterling, and it carried with it both practical and symbolic importance. The 1949 issue was minted as part of the ongoing coinage of King George VI, before the transition to Queen Elizabeth II's coinage in the 1950s, and therefore it holds a special place as one of the post-war shillings that bridges an important era in British history. When we turn our attention to the design, or the head and tail representation of this 1949 shilling, we find an artwork that speaks volumes. On the obverse, the head side, we see the effigy of King George VI, presented with his profile facing left, crafted with dignified simplicity that represents both strength and stability. This portrait was designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget, whose initials can be found at the base of the bust, and it continues to be admired as one of the finest royal portraits used on coins of that era. On the reverse, or the tail side, the design features two variations depending on the region, one being the English version with the lion standing proudly on the crown, and the other being the Scottish version with a lion rampant within a shield, crowned above. These designs were deeply symbolic, representing the unity and heritage of the United Kingdom, and they gave the shilling its unmistakable character. The cultural and historical values attached to the 1949 1 shilling coin cannot be overstated. It was not just a circulating piece of money, but a coin that carried the pride of a nation recovering from one of the toughest times in modern history. For the people who held it, it was part of their daily survival, used to buy essentials, but today it holds a greater story of resilience, monarchy, and identity. Collectors treasure it for what it represents as much as for what it is physically. The fact that it has survived more than 70 years in fine condition adds to its aura of rarity and historical prestige. In terms of its physical characteristics, the 1 shilling coin of 1949 was minted in cupronickel, a change from the earlier silver issues, marking Britain's adjustment to more economical metals in the post-war period. It weighs approximately 5.65 grams and has a diameter of around 23.5 millimeters, with a milled edge. These details may seem small, but for collectors, they are essential facts that add to the coin's technical fascination. The composition reflects the transition of British coinage into more modern forms while retaining traditional dimensions. Among the key facts that stand out is the survival of these coins in fine and better condition. While many shillings of this year were heavily circulated and show signs of wear, those preserved carefully or found in remarkable condition are far fewer in number. This scarcity in high grade is exactly what fuels collector demand, and it is one of the main reasons the coin is so highly prized in auctions and private sales. When it comes to rarity and condition, the 1949 1 shilling is especially desirable to those who seek coins that tell stories. In fine condition, it already draws attention, but in extremely fine or uncirculated states, it becomes a gem in any collection. Collectors know that condition is everything, and a coin that still carries sharp detail, crisp edges, and clear inscriptions commands a much higher price than those that are worn and faded. The rarity of such well-preserved examples is what makes this coin a target for serious numismatists. Now, let us talk about what everyone is curious about, the current market value in today's collector scene. In fine condition, the 1949 1 shilling coin is valued very highly due to its demand and symbolic importance. Collectors are willing to pay significant sums, and in certain cases, these coins have been sold for as much as $12,000, with exceptionally rare and pristine specimens reaching astonishing figures of up to $17,000 at specialist auctions. These values demonstrate not only the coin's monetary worth but also the immense respect it commands within the numismatic community. For collectors considering acquiring a 1949 1 shilling coin, a few tips are worth keeping in mind. Always look for coins that show minimal wear and strong detail, as these will hold their value best in the long run. It is also wise to buy from reputable dealers or auction houses to ensure authenticity, as counterfeits and altered coins do exist. Furthermore, handling your coin with care, storing it properly in protective cases, and keeping it away from moisture or direct handling will preserve its condition and ensure it retains its high demand and market value for years to come. In conclusion, the 1 shilling coin of the United Kingdom from 1949 is more than a relic of the past. It is a cultural and historical treasure, a rare and desirable piece that continues to shine brightly in the world of coin collecting. Its background in the post-war era, the dignified head and tail design, its cultural symbolism, its precise weight and size, and above all, its rarity and fine condition make it an extraordinary coin to own. With values soaring to $12,000 and even $17,000 in certain cases, it is clear that this coin is not only a collector's delight but also a smart investment for the future. For anyone passionate about British history or numismatics, the 1949 shilling is a piece that embodies heritage, value, and beauty in one remarkable coin. At number 4, the United Kingdom, minted in 1956. This particular coin, especially when preserved in fine condition, carries with it not only the legacy of mid-20th century Britain but also an impressive appeal in the world of numismatics, making it a sought-after piece for collectors worldwide. Its story is one of heritage, craftsmanship, and rising value, which is why today it commands such a prominent place in discussions about rare British coins. The background of the 1956 1 shilling coin lies in the post-war period, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who had only recently ascended to the throne in 1952. Britain, in those years, was redefining itself, moving from the hardships of the Second World War into a new era of rebuilding and modernization. Coins like the shilling were not merely everyday instruments of trade, but they also symbolized stability and national identity. Minted in both the English and Scottish reverse designs, the 1956 shilling served as a vital part of the pre-decimal system, circulating widely in the pockets of the British public before decimalisation came into effect in 1971. On the head of the coin we find the portrait of the young Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick, a depiction that became iconic in the early years of her reign. This graceful and youthful portrait, crowned with a simple laurel wreath, represented the optimism of a new Elizabethan age. The reverse side of the coin is where collectors find even greater fascination. The English issue carries the traditional crowned shield of England, while the Scottish version bears the proud lion rampant of Scotland, also crowned. Both designs represent the unity of the United Kingdom while simultaneously celebrating its distinct traditions, making the 1956 coin a cultural artifact that reflects the strength and pride of the nation. The cultural and historical value of this coin cannot be overstated. It stands as a tangible link to the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II, a monarch who would go on to become the longest reigning sovereign in British history. Collectors are drawn to it not only for its numismatic qualities but also for the story it tells of a Britain in transition, honouring heritage while looking forward to a modern future. Each 1 shilling coin minted in 1956 offers a piece of that era, embodying values of continuity and pride that still resonate today. In terms of physical specifications, the coin weighs approximately 5.65 grams and was struck in cupronickel, which had replaced silver in earlier years due to economic adjustments after the war. With a diameter of 23.5 millimeters, its size and feel make it instantly recognizable among British pre-decimal coins, and despite being a relatively common denomination in circulation at the time, its survival in fine condition is becoming rarer by the day. One of the key facts about the 1956 1 shilling coin is that it exists in two distinct types, the English and the Scottish reverses, and both varieties are avidly collected. What adds to their desirability is the fact that many coins from this period suffered from heavy circulation wear, meaning examples in fine or extremely fine condition are particularly treasured. Collectors value them not simply as monetary relics but as representations of artistry, history, and national pride. As for rarity and collector demand, while the 1956 shilling is not considered the rarest coin of the series, coins preserved in fine or near uncirculated condition are in remarkably high demand. Their value has appreciated significantly in the international coin market, especially in the United States, where British coins enjoy strong collector interest. In today's market, a 1956 1 shilling coin in fine condition can command prices of up to $14,000, while slightly lower grade but still well-preserved examples may sell for around $10,500. These impressive figures highlight just how strong the demand is and how much prestige this coin holds among collectors. For those looking to add a 1956 1 shilling to their collection, the advice is straightforward yet vital. Always focus on condition first, as the sharper the detail on the Queen's portrait and the clearer the heraldic designs on the reverse, the higher the value. Provenance also matters, so sourcing coins from reputable dealers or auctions ensures authenticity and enhances their long-term worth. Collectors are encouraged to safeguard their coins carefully, using protective holders or cases to prevent wear, as even minor scratches or tarnishing can reduce their value significantly. In conclusion, the 1 shilling coin of the United Kingdom from 1956 is far more than just a small piece of metal. It is a lasting symbol of a pivotal moment in British history. With its elegant design, strong cultural associations, and rising market demand, it stands as a rare treasure in the world of numismatics. The current values, ranging from $10,500 to $14,000 depending on condition, demonstrate just how much collectors are willing to invest in securing such a piece of history. For enthusiasts and seasoned collectors alike, this coin represents both a rewarding acquisition and a reminder of Britain's enduring heritage, making it a coin of high desirability and timeless significance. Last turn with the 1 shilling coin of the United Kingdom from the year 1950 is a truly fascinating piece of British numismatic history, and today it stands as one of the more desirable coins in the eyes of collectors. When we look at this coin in fine condition, we are not just seeing a simple monetary item of the mid-20th century, but rather a cultural artifact that embodies the traditions, artistry, and economic past of Britain. This coin has become increasingly rare in today's market, and the demand surrounding it continues to grow, particularly as collectors recognize its importance within the pre-decimal currency system and its direct link to post-war Britain. In today's collector's world, the 1951 shilling coin is not merely valued as an old coin, but rather as a symbol of history with real monetary worth in the international market. To appreciate its true value, it is important to understand the background of this coin. The 1 shilling denomination had long been part of British coinage, representing 12 pence in the traditional system. By 1950, Britain was still using pre-decimal currency, and coins such as the shilling played an essential role in everyday life. At this time, King George VI was on the throne, and the coins reflected both the stability and heritage of the monarchy. The 1950 issue belongs firmly in this era, being produced in cupronickel rather than silver, as silver had been replaced in circulating coinage following the 1940s. This shift in metal content tells a story of post-war austerity and changing economic needs, yet the designs retained their prideful and traditional symbolism. On the obverse, or the head side, the coin proudly features the portrait of King George VI. His profile is finely detailed, with lettering encircling his image bearing his Latin title, which translates to George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons, Defender of the Faith. This is not just a design choice but an emblem of the monarch's authority and a reminder of Britain's enduring traditions even during times of social and political change. Turning to the reverse, or the tail side, we see the iconic national designs that had long adorned the shilling. Depending on the specific variety, the reverse could represent either the English version with the crowned lion standing upon a crown, or the Scottish version displaying the rampant lion with the shield of Scotland. Both designs carry a rich national symbolism, reinforcing the unity of the United Kingdom while celebrating its distinct nations. The cultural and historical value of the 1951 shilling coin lies in its place within the fabric of British life. At the time, this was not a coin that was stored away for safekeeping, but rather one that would have changed hands in markets, shops, and everyday transactions across the country. It speaks of a Britain recovering from war, modernizing its industries, and moving gradually towards the later adoption of decimalization in 1971. For collectors today, holding this coin is like holding a small, tangible piece of history that connects the present day with a very different Britain of the mid-20th century. When it comes to physical details, the 1951 shilling coin weighed around 5.65 grams and measured approximately 23.5 millimeters in diameter. Made of cupronickel, it had a milled edge and a robust feel that gave it a distinctive character compared to today's lightweight coins. These key features make it instantly recognizable to seasoned collectors, and its design remains admired for its combination of strength, tradition, and elegance. The rarity of the 1950 shilling cannot be overstated. While millions were minted for circulation, the survival of examples in fine or better condition is relatively limited. Many coins were used heavily in everyday life, meaning high-quality examples are far less common. Collectors place significant value on coins that show clear details of the king's portrait, sharp lettering, and minimal wear on the reverse design. The condition, therefore, directly impacts its desirability, with fine condition coins drawing attention in auctions and private sales. The rarity, combined with condition, fuels strong demand from coin enthusiasts and investors alike. Now, in terms of its present-day market value, the 1951 shilling coin in fine condition has become an increasingly sought-after item. Depending on the quality and the specific reverse design, its value can range significantly, but many collectors are willing to pay between $5,000 and $8,000 for a well-preserved example. This is a clear indication that the coin is not only a collector's piece but also an investment item that continues to appreciate in value. Such figures highlight the growing recognition of mid-20th century British coins as both historical artifacts and financial assets. For collectors interested in obtaining the 1951 shilling, there are a few helpful tips to consider. First and foremost, always examine the condition carefully, as details on the obverse and reverse make a considerable difference in value. Look for coins that retain strong definition, especially in the king's portrait and the lion design. Authenticity is also crucial, so sourcing from reputable dealers or recognized auction houses is highly recommended. Building a collection of different shilling issues, including both English and Scottish reverses, can also add depth and character to a collection. Finally, proper storage in coin holders or albums will ensure the preservation of the coin's condition, protecting its future value. In conclusion, the 1951 shilling coin of the United Kingdom is a remarkable piece of numismatic history. From its portrait of King George VI to its national reverse designs, it embodies both tradition and cultural significance. Its weight, design, and rarity make it highly attractive to collectors, while its growing market value demonstrates its lasting demand. A coin once used in the everyday lives of Britons is now regarded as a prized collectible worth between $5,000 and $8,000 in fine condition, making it both a piece of history and a valuable investment. For collectors, this coin represents more than just currency. It is a treasured symbol of Britain's rich heritage and a timeless addition to any collection. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this journey into the fascinating world of British 1 shilling coins. These remarkable pieces from the late 1940s and 1950s are more than just old currency. They are rare treasures that carry history, culture, and real value in today's market. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on rare and valuable coins from the United Kingdom and beyond. Your support means a great deal, and it helps us continue bringing you more insights into the hidden gems of numismatics. Until next time, keep exploring, keep collecting, and who knows, the next coin you discover might just be a true treasure.